Hello, and welcome to Business Focus, produced by the Greater Reston Chamber of Commerce. My name is Angela Inzerillo of Impact Business Solutions, and I'm privileged to be your host as we highlight some of the great work that our local businesses are doing in this community. Today, we've got a great lineup. We always have a great lineup, but today we're highlighting the Chamber's Ethics Day with Miss Cate Fulkerson, one of the leaders for a long, long time. Next, we'll be speaking with Rob Chevez of Reston Diggs, and if you don't know about Reston Diggs, certainly stick around and listen to that one. And then finally, Mr. Randy Jones, who you will absolutely love with First Financial Group. Let's go meet them. So for my first guest, please welcome Miss Cate Fulkerson, Principal of Points North Strategies and one of our fabulous leaders of Ethics Day. Cate, welcome.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
This is great. It's so good to see you. As great I've been saying, seeing, right? Not like touching, but we'll be together soon.
Yes.
We really will. So, so I've known you for a number of years. Cate and I served on the Reston Chamber board together all those years, giving Mark as much grief as possible. Women power, go.
Yes.
But honestly, if it were I don't know, you've been in Reston like your whole life, right? So share a little bit about your history of being in Reston and kind of what you're doing now, because it's all transformed in this great package.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Oh, man, I love Reston.
Yeah.
Been here since I was in grade school. Yeah. Went to high school here, went away to college, all of that good stuff. But what I was most surprising and excited about is that I actually got to work for the community that I lived in. So as you know, I worked with Reston Association for a number of years, for over 28 years, kind of worked my way up through the ranks and various different positions, with the last being CEO. And when it was time to step back, everybody's got that time in their career. It's like, okay, what do I really enjoy doing most? I mean, I love the residents and the community and all of that, but I started to get really passionate about strategic planning, organizational development, board training, coaching. And I thought, I think I would not like to come home at midnight every night.
Yeah.
Good call. Right. Yeah, man. Got to see my husband and daughter. And I think we have a couple of dogs. I'm not sure. So
I'm sure we'll hear them in the background.
Right. I mean, right now you're going to laugh. They're passed out right now. I did that purposefully, gave them treats and said, go back to bed.
Good deal.
But I wanted to turn my attention to my passions and what was really driving me. And I started my own company 3 years ago.
Unbelievable. I remember.
Yeah. So I'm having a great time with it. So it's fun to do your passion, right?
Yeah. And it seems when people are like, oh, you get passionate about strategic planning. No, it's passionate. I swear, we've been doing it too.
Exactly. But I love this stuff.
Yeah. And you're so good at it. And it takes from what you were able to do with the association and bring it to your own business. And then, you're now an entrepreneur making millions of dollars, serving the community, fulfilling that passion. Yeah, let's just go with that.
Okay. I'm like, millions? Really?
No, whatever. No, it really is all about passion. So I totally agree. So speaking of being passionate and being, members of the chamber and active in the community, how did you get started with the chamber?
Oh, gosh, with Reston Association.
Okay.
Reston Association was a member of the chamber. The chamber is the opportunities the chamber offers different businesses to come and be a part of and do things, help make the chamber happen, the different committees. I got on one of the committees at the time, and it was a really cool program called Ethics Day.
Transitions right into. So tell us a little bit more about this Ethics Day.
Well, it's a great program that was started back in 1992. Mm-hmm. So we just celebrated this year the 28th anniversary of the Ethics Day program.
Wow.
Incredibly unique model that was put together by chamber members and South Lakes High School to offer the business community a way to get involved in the community and to do good for the community, where they get to really mold and interact with the future business leaders.
Yeah, amazing.
The future workforce, which was really, really cool. I started off as just one of those folks who were blessed to be a part of the program on an annual basis. a table leader.
Yeah.
So I was leading a table of 8 to 10 students, senior students on an annual basis, consider these different ethical scenarios. And my position morphed from table leader to room facilitator to co-chair of it. And I've been doing it for over 20 years. And I'm passionate about it. It's a really cool.
Oh, it's phenomenal. Yeah. Having been a table leader myself, I'm telling you the ethical scenarios that the children, the kids, the adults, the young adults were put in were pretty amazing, right?
Yeah.
Who do you give this heart to? And texting and driving. So you guys kept it pretty current with the scenario. So what were the typical 4 scenarios? And then this year, I know it modified a little bit with COVID.
So typically,
virtual.
Yeah. So typically what we do in person in November, Tuesday before Thanksgiving, is we present to the seniors of South Lakes High School, get to come to the Sheraton Reston Hotel. We're blessed to have the Sheraton be a partner.
Great sponsor, yeah.
Oh, yeah, to lend their space. And
we're talking like 500 seniors, right?
Exactly. 500 to 600. It's amazing. And they get equally split into 4 different groups, and they rotate throughout the day through 4 different rooms. And we have a courtroom scene with actual actors that come in and play out something for the students. The students act as, jury and judge of what they're seeing. As you mentioned, we have a heart transplant room where the students have actors come before them and plead for the heart. And we talk to them about, these are really having to make life decisions.
Yeah.
The past couple of years, we flip-flopped on some modules, which are timely, depending on what's going on in the school community at the time. We added a program called Unconscious Bias.
Nice.
To talk about the importance of making sure that you get to know people, ask questions of them, don't make assumptions about people, make sure you're including them, as well as a new module on digital citizenship and the importance of being respectful and responsible online.
I think you need to have Ethics Day. We need to start having it for adults because, this is ideal for the teenagers. I get it. Right. The 18-year-old going right up through school, getting jobs for the first time. But honestly, it's very timely for adults as well. And I think Leidos heads up that program.
They do a fantastic job. One other thing that we added about a year ago was just a whole section on what is ethics and getting into what does that mean, and a rich conversation with the students. So we've got great programs, and it's great to see them and interact with them in person. I think they enjoy it.
Oh gosh, I'm sure they do. And you had quite a bit turnout this year being virtual, and I'm sure you got some good. I know you had 2 new segments, right? You mentioned.
Yeah, we did, and we didn't do anything in November because we were all doing as everybody else. It's like, how do we reset and put this program on in a meaningful way in an unusual year? So we work closely with South Lakes High School. Chamber staff were fantastic, working with the fantastic staff at South Lakes. And Google, our sponsor, one of the chamber sponsored, also helped out with Leidos. And we put on a virtual Ethics Day program. A couple of 100 students participated in it. It was by choice. They really wanted to participate. We did unconscious bias. We did digital citizenship. We had 2 brand new modules. One was on resume writing and interviewing.
Nice. Yeah.
Really important. And the second was on a job fair. And the reason why we did that is not only is it necessary, but there are a lot of students this year who are not going to be able to go to college because they don't have the funds. And they're now interested in getting into the workforce and saving up and maybe taking a gap year, but they need a job. And we wanted to make sure they were prepared for that.
So critical. And I love to see how, the program transitioned into what is needed today and even during COVID and doing it online. So that's great to see. So you're going to be back hopefully in person this coming November?
Absolutely. Tuesday before Monday, week of Thanksgiving, we will definitely be back. Yeah.
Okay. Well, great. Well, as I always say, the time just flies by. So before we end here, how do we share with the folks and watching how to get involved with Ethics Day? And we'll have it scroll up on the screen, but what's the best way to get involved this year?
Please contact the chamber. We will definitely be looking for table leaders. We need help. We've got about usually about 60 to, depending on number of students, 80 slots that we have to fill. So we need you. We need the business leaders to help us with this.
Well, I'll be there. I'll be
Yay!
there. And they always feed
Awesome.
you too. There's like a great big lunch right after with a big turkey.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Exactly.
No, the Sheraton does a great job. So anyway, yeah, it's all about the food. No, and the children. We're here for the children.
Right.
No, it is a great day. And Kate, thank you so much for all you've done for the chamber, being an active member of the community and doing great things for your clients. And well, I want to make sure we scroll your business. How do people get in touch with you as well? Doing strategic planning, organizational development, everything that you are just rock solid and good at. And hey, I need you on my next business education this year. So we've got to come up with a topic.
Sounds good.
Get you on one of our next BES programs.
That sounds great.
Well,
thank you.
Great to see you. Thank you so much. And I hope to see you very soon.
Definitely. Thank you, Angela.
All right. Bye, Kate.
Bye-bye.
For my next guest, please welcome Mr. Rob Chevez, CEO of the CAZA Group and founder of Reston Diggs. Rob, great to see you.
Angela, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's always good to see you. And I can't wait to see you in person, as I've been telling everybody when I've been doing these, Zoom interviews. So I look forward to that. But yeah, thanks for being on the show today. And I know you've been around Reston for like a long time. So before we get into like what Reston Diggs is about, because I'm really excited to share it with the group. Can you just tell us a little bit more about like your history in Reston, and kind of what you're doing now? Yeah, because you're doing a lot of things. We have a short amount of time.
I know. I discovered Reston in 2004, right? Okay. And the way I discovered Reston was my wife and I, as you know, Angela, we invest in real estate, run a large real estate team. And we were living in McLean at the time. And we were by far the youngest in our neighborhood. Our little baby girl had just been born. And I remember thinking, I want to find something a little bit different that's a little bit more walkable. And we rented out that single family home to the Turkish embassy at the time. And we started just kind of searching, which is what I do when I have fun, right? Like I love looking at real estate. Yeah. And we found a little townhouse in kind of like the South Lakes area and we bought it. And then we bought another one and then we bought another one. And we're like, we love Reston. Where's Reston been all our life? And that's how we discovered Reston in 2004.
That's amazing. No, I didn't know that story. So that's great. So you've been there ever since. So so you've been, like you said, buying and selling real estate for over 20 years. You started when you were in kindergarten. And so tell me about how did Reston Diggs get started? Well, first of all, tell us what it is.
Well, sure. So Reston Diggs, here's the thing. I love the entrepreneur. I love the business owner, the person that goes out and they have an idea and they're willing to lay it out on the line and work hard for it.
Yeah.
And entrepreneurs are an interesting breed, right? They have a vision in their mind and then they work really, really hard in order to make that vision come true. Yeah. And I love celebrating that. And so as business owners in Reston and wanting to be and commit more to working in our backyard, this was maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I turned to Kim, my wife, and I said, babe, I really want to celebrate the entrepreneur, the business owner in Reston. And I can't think of a better way than to highlight and tell their story, because we all learn through stories. And I didn't find that there was anywhere that I could find online where anybody was already doing that.
Right.
And I enjoy listening to the business owner stories. I enjoy uncovering the hardships and the walls that they hit, and how they overcame them and all the rest. And so we just started recording, right? I approached a couple of business owners that I had admired from afar and I, asked them whether or not they would be open to this idea. They said, sure, right? It doesn't cost them anything. It's completely
right. We were like, sure. Right? Conversation with Rob and Kim all day long. Yeah, no, it was great. And it was really great because you are interested in the story. It's not just like what the businesses are doing. It is about how they got started and their passion. And that's really the lifeblood, right, of the small business community. So I love seeing that.
I was the guy. I'm sorry, I was the guy that was always going to, let's say, a restaurant and wanting to read on the back of the menu the story of the restaurant. Like if it wasn't there, I was like upset. I wanted to know. So I love telling those stories. Bottom
How do
line,
you
that's
find
why I
these
started.
people? How do you find them?
Well, one person leads you to another person, which leads you to another person. So I just ask, is there an entrepreneur, a business owner that you admire that has a great story that we could feature on Reston Diggs?
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah. And people are raising
and
their
people
hands.
say, yeah, you got to talk to, Angela, or you got to talk to Melissa, or you got to talk to, whoever. And then we approach them, and it doesn't cost them anything. It's completely free. We want to be able to share their story. And the way, the way we get rewarded is through social currency, right? It's like relationships to me are the most important thing since oxygen, right? So one relationship can change the trajectory of your life. It transforms everything. And so I love getting in a relationship with business owners.
I love the mentality, and it's so true. That's how you grow your business. That's how you build your business. It's all about relationships, and your character and building it. I mean, like for us doing it, we just having a conversation, with a couple of friends, but it was able to share kind of what our story was. So it was really nice to be able to do that. And we did it in person. We did it actually at your office, but how did COVID impact, production last year? I mean,
just like this, right? Like we said, okay, how are we going to tell the story? We're going to do it in a StreamYard environment, which is the platform that we use, StreamYard. And I found that it was incredibly efficient, right? So what we've done is we do all the all the videos of the story like this, but then Kim will go on site and take all the B-roll and add in the B-roll of the business along with the interview. And it's just fun. And by the way, Reston Diggs, in my mind, it's so much bigger than what it is right now. Eventually, it'll be telling the story of every neighborhood. It'll be telling the story of every restaurant, of every business, of every park, of every school, of every street. But it's a project that no one person could do by themselves. Like it's going to take a team of people. So what it's going to evolve into is really just a media platform, right?
Yeah.
And I believe probably more than likely we'll tap into the high school, right? South Lakes High School to do a lot of that type of stuff.
Yeah, great.
It's a great training ground for young entrepreneurs and business owners, and get them comfortable doing interviews and learning about their community.
Idea. That's super. Yeah. Bring up, the new entrepreneur, and they have classes now that they didn't have that when I went to high school, and it wasn't that long ago, but I mean, bringing that talent and then the video editing. I mean, Kimmy does a great job, but that's
but she's only one person, right?
Yeah.
If you could get like 5 kids from the local high school, like editing, the content, and then they can get credit for it. They could do interviews. They could feature local heroes, stories.
Fabulous.
I mean, there's so many cool stories. When you read the news a lot of time, it's a little, like I want to feature good things, right? I mean, it's just like there's a lot of like bad stuff that's featured, and I love to feature the positive, right?
Yeah.
The local hero, the animal shelter, the person that's contributed, to social causes, like their story is important. It's not just the story of the entrepreneur.
No, and you do more than just the local businesses. I know you do a lot of the nonprofits as well. So what opportunities do chamber members or the community have, and like how do they get in touch and share their story and learn more about what you're doing with Diggs and everything else that you're doing?
They can go to restondiggs.com. We're in the middle of revamping that whole site because it's horrible, right? So we're going to revamp all that site, but the content's what matters. Like we never wanted to get, I always say, perfection's the enemy of profit, right? So it's like, hey, let's just tell stories. We'll put it online. People could find us on Instagram. They could find us on, restondiggs.com. And over time, that's just going to evolve. It's going to get better and better and better and better and better. And, before you know it, it'll just be a depository of just amazing information that if anybody wants to find anything about anything in Reston, they're going to be able to find it there.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I hope that we're going to make sure all those social media channels are flying up on the screen right now so people know how to get in touch with you, Rob, and share their story. And then I'm sure there's a few things out there that you don't even know about. So that would be great to highlight it. Yeah. So you're going to have to stick around Reston a few more decades to get it all in.
Totally fine.
That's why you got to train that next.
Well,
Well, as always, it's great to see you. Time flies by, but I loved having you, love seeing your face, love chatting with you, love sharing what's going on with Reston Diggs. So please say hello to your lovely wife for me. And
thank you. I will do.
And
Tell James I say hi.
I shall. Thank you. See you soon,
Okay.
Rob. Bye.
Bye,
Mwah.
Angela. Bye-bye.
So for my next guest, please welcome Mr. Randy Jones, Wealth Management Advisor with First Financial Group. Randy, welcome.
Thanks a lot for inviting me, and I'm glad to be here.
It's great
Can't
to
wait
see
to hear
you.
what you're gonna ask me.
He's got no idea. It's all a mystery. Well, let me tell you, Randy is great on the fly. So even if it was a total mystery, you'd be fabulous. Well, anyway, it's great to see you as always. And I can't wait till we're going to be in person, which hopefully is soon. You think?
Yeah, I just got notification that my kids are going back to school, in person.
Nice. Okay, I guess that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, in the fall when they go back to college.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Well, you know what? I don't think I know much about your background and kind of how you got started. So why don't you share a little bit about your background and kind of what brought you to First Financial Group?
Okay, well, I've been at First Financial Group for the last, I say, 9 years. And I originally started in the financial services industry maybe about 25, 26 years ago. I used to own and run a mortgage company for about 17 and a half years. And then I grew into financial awareness and education. So I might do 100 plus seminars and presentations for nonprofit, for-profit organizations.
Yeah,
and
you do a lot for the chamber too.
Yeah, a ton of stuff for the chamber. I expanded what I do so that I could get, more hands-on with my clients and the inner workings of their finance. And I joined First Financial Group because it had an awesome platform. They're backed by Guardian and Park Avenue Security, and we just have a lot of support. We do pretty well. About 730 advisors and maybe 200 plus staff members, and I have my own team of about 11 advisor partners. Yeah,
Are you nationwide?
No, we're in about, at this point, 18 states.
Okay.
Primarily up and down. We're one of the largest mid-Atlantic companies, and we've been in business for the last 45 years. Yeah.
So more specifically, what do you do? And I always like to ask the why do you do what you do question.
Outstanding. Well, so what I often would describe First Financial Group sort of like a hospital, and that we all have all these different doctors that specialize in different things. Two types of patients: individuals and business owners.
Yep.
What I am, and I specialize, is I'm a comprehensive advisor, and I specialize in family and legacy banks. My experience is that people have money more as an obstacle than they do as an asset. And when I look at a person's life, they often have multiple dollars doing one job versus $1 doing multiple jobs.
Yeah.
Typically, my clients have multiple advisors giving them advice, but they just don't have it coordinated. So people come to me, not for products and programs, more importantly, plans. How do I make everything I already have work for the benefit of me, my companies, and most importantly, their families?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds like you can be an advisor and you can have the outer perspective and really help people understand. So what do you see that's the biggest challenge, that most have, and like, how do you uniquely help them? Because, no offense against the financial world, but there's a lot of bankers out there. There's a lot of financial advisors out there. So tell me a little bit more about what makes you stand out.
I think it's really having a conversation. Most advisors will say, hey, Angela, give me $100,000, and we got this great product that's going to, or program that's going to make it $200,000. We talk about our rates of returns and our different specialties and things like that. I often will tell my clients, wealth is not about money; it's about a mindset. And so I think the biggest challenge, or the biggest thing that I help them overcome, is the way that they think about money. I often will tell them the things that I do, and I do a lot of illustrations. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words, and I tell people I got 1,000 pictures to show you. And so what I will tell them is that, when we look at your money, there's something else outside of your money that you wanted to accomplish. So I think I'm really good in having a different type of conversation that really doesn't deal with money. But then once we understand, more importantly, like you said to me, their why, then I can sort of align their money. I tell people what I do is not complicated. It's just hard. And the hard part about it is changing the way that you think, because until you meet me, you had a lifetime of experiences thinking a certain way about money. And I tell people, I call it my 3190. In 30 minutes, I'm going to know what you need to do. In 1 week, I'm going to figure out how we need to change it. And in 90 days, we're going to implement a different way of thinking about your money.
I love it.
So that's
And
really
mindset is huge, huge. We have gotten so much into mindset with the coaching practice as well. It's so powerful to change the way you think. So interestingly enough, you said recently that you were identified your niche after all these years. Could you share a little bit about who's your ideal client, niche, target market?
So specifically, so it's hard for me to define it because
Sure.
I'm a big why type of person. Mm-hmm. So I would often tell people my ideal client is a person who has a desire for greatness more so than money. And what I meant by that is I have clients who make, just a little bit of money, and I have clients who make too much money. But some of the clients who have tons of money aren't great clients from the standpoint of that, they're sort of entrenched in the way that they think. And then I got people who make $40,000 or $50,000 and they'll run through brick walls to achieve their goals.
Yeah.
And when you have a client that's energized, it keeps you energized. Mm-hmm. So, from, a metric standpoint, I often described it as my 3 to 5. They've been in business 3 to 5 years. They're looking to sell or transition from their business in 3 to 5 years. They maybe do $3 to $5 million in revenue, $300,000 to $500,000 in household income. But most importantly, they can save anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 a month. And if they can't, I help them find that. And so what I realized is that once we got their money organized, my clients wanted something more. You would often hear people say, I'd like to create generational wealth or leave a legacy, but most advisors don't tell you how. I can take a phrase from what you said to me years ago. You said, yeah, Randy, you need to put a process, but how do you put a process in place? And so what I specialize in my niche is creating legacy banks. How do we now show you out of all of the resources that you have, that you work for, accumulate, how do we turn that into a true legacy bank for you and your family? Mm-hmm. And then think if you opened up a Bank of America, you've got to learn how to run it. And the goal is to teach my clients how to open up multiple branches of their own Bank of America, so to speak, within their family that last for generations. So we have a specific series of steps that we take them through. And at the end of it, they can finance things from their businesses, cars, educations, a whole lot of different things.
And if they could stick with it. So I agree. And if you've got the plan in place and people can stick with it and you meet with them regularly and they can keep their head down, not let the market make crazy decisions, for them. I think that, it sounds like you do a lot of great things with your clients. And I've known you through the chamber now for a number of years. How long have you been a member of the chamber?
I've been a member of the chamber now. I've gone on 9 years as well.
It is, yeah.
It has been an awesome experience. That's what I would call it. There are lots of people that come and go, and and they share lots of their their insight, their experience and expertise. And so it has been an awesome resource for growing my business, but more importantly, growing the relationships that I've had in the community.
I agree 100%. When people start their business and they go to the chamber, all they think about is, I'm going to get business, I'm going to get clients, and they take that mentality, that mindset. It doesn't work. It doesn't work as well. If you go in developing relationships, and then even like us with our business education committee and the small group of people, we've really grown to get to know each other. And it's not about doing business with each other. It's about who do we know, and how to work together. So I love that. This interview always goes quickly. So I just want to, before we end here, kind of share how people can get in touch with you, or what's the best way to meet Mr. Randy Jones.
Outstanding. Hey, you can email me at mrrandyjones@guardianlife.com. You can call me at 703-919-6258. And anybody who's watching this, I would tell you, it's just like a bank. Don't join the chamber to come and take any type of withdrawal. See if you can make some deposits first, because the more you give, I promise you, the more you'll get.
Man, I'm so glad we got that on a recording, because we're going to use that. Well, thank you, Randy. It was great seeing you as always. I can't wait to give you a hug very, very soon. But I just wanted to appreciate you being here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. And we'll see you soon.
Outstanding. Thanks for the opportunity to talk.
All right. Well, another great business focus produced by the Greater Reston Chamber of Commerce. I want to thank my fabulous guests today, Ms. Cate Fulkerson with Points North Strategies, Rob Chevez with Reston Diggs, and Mr. Randy Jones with First Financial Group. My name is Angela Inzerillo, and I look forward to seeing you next time.